Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the linear inequalities notes. Okay, at the end of this, you should be able to say that I can solve linear inequalities. Okay, first thing with linear inequalities, you have to reverse the inequality sign if you do one of these two things. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you got to switch your inequality around. And then if you interchange or switch the sides of the inequality, you also have to switch your inequality sign. Okay, so switching the inequality sign means from greater than to less than, or greater than or equal to less than or equal to. Okay, let's look at some examples, and that should help out. Okay, example 21, solve for x. 2x minus 7 is less than 5. So we're going to get, this is just like the previous section that we did, except for now we have inequalities. So first thing we're going to do here is let's add 7 to both sides to get rid of that 7. All right, and we get 2x is less than or equal to 12. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x is less than or equal to 6. Okay, now we didn't have to multiply or divide, or we didn't switch the sides of the inequality. We didn't move this over there and all this over there, so we didn't have to switch the inequality signs. Okay, remember, only if you multiply or divide by a negative or switch the sides of everything. But anyway, let's move on. That will come up here eventually. Let's see. First thing we want to do here is subtract 3 from both sides, and we got x. We're left with x over 4 equals negative 4. Right now, we want to get rid of this 4, so we're going to multiply everything by positive 4. Right, so those 4's reduce down to 1, so we're just left with x on one side. And then 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Oops, I don't know why I put that. That's supposed to be less than signs there. That doesn't look very good. There, that looks better. And we are done. Now remember, we only have to switch it if we multiply by a negative, not if one of those is, we're multiplying by a positive here, so we do not have to switch it, even though this is a negative and it ends up being a negative. Only if you're multiplying or dividing by negative. All right, this one here. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of this. So the 3 over 3 reduces down to 1. So we have 5 minus 2x is greater than or equal to 3 times 7 is 21. Okay. Now let's see. Let's get rid of this 5. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. All right, and we get negative 2x is greater than or equal to 21 minus 5 is 16, right? Now we are going to divide by negative 2. Okay, since we are now dividing by a negative, this is when we want to switch the inequality. So now we know the inequality is now going to be less than or equal to instead of greater than or equal to. So we're left with x, and then 16 divided by 2, negative 2 is negative 8. And that's that. Okay, let's look at a few more, and then away we go. So same thing, solving for x. We've got x's on both sides. Now, again, I always like, especially with inequalities, I like my x's to be positive if I can. So I'm going to move my 4x over. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides. All right, so we get 6 is greater than 4x plus 5. Right, and now I got to get rid of the 5. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. And I get 1 is less than 4x. Divide by 4. So x we know is going to have to be less than 1/4. Or 1/4 is, going to be greater than x. Okay? Again, didn't have to divide. We divided by a positive, so we don't have to switch the inequality. All right, this one here, let's distribute. And then we'll distribute this negative 2 through also, and then simplify, and away we go. 3x minus 15 is less than or equal to x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. Okay, and then now we're going to simplify. So nothing to simplify there, but x minus 2x, that's going to leave us with negative x plus 6 over here, and we have 3x minus 15 here. Okay. Again, I like to keep positive x's, so I'm going to positive variable, so I'm going to add my x to both sides. Right, and that's going to leave us with 4x here, and those cancel out. And we're going to move. We want to get rid of this 15, so we're going to add 15 to both sides. Right, and so we have 4x is less than or equal to 21. Divide by 4, and we get x is less than or equal to, we can just leave it as 21 over 4 if you want. So we can say it's 21 over 4. Or if you want something a little more satisfying than that, x is less than or equal to 21 over 4 is what? 5.25. Either one of those would be just fine. Okay? All right, that's all there is for linear inequalities. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask in class. Thanks.